left to wonder in a troubled African town where an exploding bomb or gunshot was a common everyday song. As he grew, his best friend was hunger. He ate out of garbage cans, and with all the odds piled up against him, he still grew to be a man. Now between me and you, for what he went through, he must be a hero too. A hero too, that's true. He must be a hero too. There are those whose courage shines much brighter than the sun, and they will be remembered by the works that they have done. Great men who fanned the flames of hope that burn throughout the years, and for that cause they gave blood, sweat, and tears. Real tears. There's Butler, Martin Luther, King Shaka, Nelson Mandela, Steve Biko, T.M. Marisho, Julian Fedor, and Demita Barrow, and many more, too numerous to mention, who with their works have touched the lives of millions. May not mean apartheid that squeezed your soul, made your life one big living hell. 27 years in a cell. Whoa, hero. May not preach unification as he puts his life on a limb. Every hero can't have a dream. Look, the young Rastafarian brother at his best is worse than a beast, and his name is right at the ceiling of every policeman's hit list. People think he's a good for nothing, little less than a common thief, and don't care how they try to crush him in, he goes on to his belief. Now between me and you, for what he goes through, he must be a hero too. A hero too, that's true. He must be a hero too. The little things that you will do, the choices that you make, each time the chips are down and out will tell if you are great. So woman, don't you give up now because your child's no more. Just hang in there and let your hero show. Let it show the black man. Oh, what a hero. So much abuse he's had to undergo. They enslaved.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Once again, it's time for Talking Points. Yes, I know, we're late tonight, yeah.
And then he's a land.
Transportation issues. It's not always easy to get out of the south of the island on a Friday night. That's one of the reasons I didn't used to do the Friday night program. It's a bit difficult to get in. The getting out part is another story as well, yeah?
To drugs, and it seemed like the way to go. Yet he turned away and said no. Whoa. Doesn't depend on sex or size. It is not if you're dark or clear. It's the tribulations you bear. The calypso and every season. He puts out more than a lot. At the end,
A special good night to each and everyone again. I do apologize once again for the late start tonight.
disregard him. People think he's a millionaire.
And because we don't have that amount of time, Mr. Yeah, man, somebody calling, not taking the phone call one time.
Knock them.
Hello, good night.
Good night, Sheldon.
Hi, good night, my dear.
Yes, Sheldon.
Yes, my dear, you're live. Go right ahead.
The oil spill in Trinidad. You had talked about it a few nights ago.
Yeah.
Now, if you didn't talk about it, right, they would not have done anything. I heard Mr. Cloud on the air tonight with it, right? But everything, Sheldon, you had to knock them for they to come out to do something, Sheldon. It's a lucky thing we did, so we could knock them. Thank you.
All right, my dear. 440-7377. It is the Friday Night Forum. All right, yeah. So you all can call with your different issues and so on. Yeah, don't afraid. You don't have to wait for me to start the issues. You can call with the different issues. It is the Friday Night Forum. Hey, what going on here? What do you think? I wonder what do the thing here? Nice. Let me say a special good night to all of you joining us on the live. Yeah. Good night to you, Zayla. Good night to you, Zoe. Good night to you, Zelia. Zelia, you give up, Uncle Sheldon. I don't like that. Zelia, give me up. I don't like it. Nice. But a special good night to you, my dear. I know you're studying the baby now. Yeah, that's where you're studying now.
That the ceiling of every policeman's police. People think he's a good for no.
Alan Jones, good night, and yes, sir. All right, nice.
Don't care how they try to crush him in. He holds on to his belief. Now between me and you, for what he goes through, he must be a hero too. A hero too. That's true. He must be.
Yeah, I nearly didn't come in to do the program, you know. Yeah, nearly didn't come in to do the program. But I can't do that to you all, no. Good night to you, Miriam. Good night to you, Liza Bernard, McLean Mitchell. Yeah, Adrian Watts, Anna Lois. Good night to all of you. Michelle Alexander, baby daddy. Baby daddy, what's up? Yeah, I'm late tonight, man. And I saw some information on one of the sites a little earlier today in relation to the oil spill. Now, what they're saying is that there was a barge that was being towed out of Venezuela. Apparently, it seems as though there's some move by some individuals to breach some of the embargoes that are on Venezuela, and therefore they were passing through Trinidad and Tobago waters with a tug was pulling the barge heading the direction of Guyana. And the barge overturned, and as such there's the oil spill that has seriously damaged the coastline out there in Tobago. The Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago made a statement in the Parliament of Trinidad today in relation to the issue. The Venezuelan government have reached out to him and have offered their support. Let me say that again. The Venezuelan government have reached out to him and offered their support. The same thing I was saying last night, that we should approach Venezuela. Well, Venezuela has approached Trinidad and Tobago to offer their support to deal with that particular issue of the oil spill. Now again, even if it's a little bit, even if it's plenty, we don't want none on our beaches here. So again, we are calling on the government. If you do not know how to contact the Venezuelan government, speak to the New National Party. We know how to contact them. Yeah? Speak to the New National Party. Right? If you all don't know how to contact Venezuela, talk to us. Because as a precautionary measure, you don't want to wait until it is 2 days away or 12 hours away or 1 day away from getting onto Grenadian shores and then have to ask the Venezuelans for help. That's going to take a week before it gets here, or it's going to take 4 days before they mobilize and they get here to try and protect our beaches, to place some stuff out in the water to dissipate and then to try and suck it up and that sort of thing. You don't want to reach until it is on Grenadian shores, in our mangroves, damaging our wildlife and damaging our sea creatures and so on in their breeding areas. Because the fishes, of course, the aquatic life, they tend to go and breed within the mangroves. So you don't want to end up having your mangroves damaged, which is going to damage our fish stock or maritime stock. You don't want to get into that situation. You want to address it before. And you also don't want to be waiting until the last minute to tell Grenadians things about this. You should be informing Grenadians on a regular basis on what is taking place when it comes to this issue. You don't have to say, well, when we... It's just the attitude of this administration. Everything is, if we feel like or when we feel like, we're going to tell you. If we feel like telling you. If we think that you need to know. Yeah? And that, I find that to be serious. That's troubling to me. That's really troubling to me, because I come out of a political organization that went in power, and not just during the last period, before 2008 as well. The New National Party always made sure that they interacted with the general public. So you had the press conferences where ministers would tell the people of Grenada what is going on. A government minister goes to a trip and they come back. They would come back and they would report to the Grenadian people that I've been to this trip to Saudi Arabia. We are seeking funding for the improvement of our road network. We've signed a memorandum of understanding for 20 million, or we signed a memorandum of understanding, and a technical team from Saudi Arabia is going to be coming here to look at the road network and so on, and to make suggestions and so. Or they are going to send a technical team to manage what is taking place in relation to the reconstruction or the construction of a particular roadway. That is how you speak to your Grenadian people and you communicate with them. But from the onset, this administration has said that unless they find it necessary, they are not going to tell people anything when they think that you need to know. We have a call online. Good night. Hello.
Good night, sir. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm good, bro. What's up?
I need to ask you something. I hope it's relevant. Now, whenever the Prime Minister leaves the island and he leaves someone in charge, which would be the acting Prime Minister, does that person, whether he or she assumes the role of his portfolios in terms of Minister of National Security, Minister responsible for information with respect to NADMAN and those things?
Generally, yes. When you assume the for instance, yes, as you're correct actually, the Prime Minister has various portfolios under his remit, and if somebody is acting on his behalf, they are not only acting as Prime Minister, but they're also acting in all those portfolios. So, disaster management and so, which includes NADMAN. So, yes, they are responsible for that. They are responsible for information. They are responsible for national security. So, all of those things, home affairs, etc., that's under his portfolio, that person is acting in that capacity. You're correct.
You know what I want to say? He who have eyes or ears to hear and see, let them hear and see. Thank you very much.
All right, my brother. Yes, I understand you perfectly, my brother, and it is a very valid point. Thank you so very much. Yes, indeed. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. You can call us via the WhatsApp. You can call us directly. Good night, boss. No pay today. These people set me up. I take gas from the shop. I tell the shopkeeper today he go get his money. And Papa, like old people, drag bam bam on them. Yeah? So these are some of the wardens. They're not the traffic warden, but the maintenance wardens, and so they have not been paid. So one has messaged me here because they promised them that they would receive their money by today. Today is the 16th, and we know they're supposed to pay by the 15th is when they notified that they'll be paying by. And these people have still not been paid. Yeah, the people who do the bushing and that sort of thing, they haven't gotten their money. And you have the other contractors, like my good friend that calls and lets us know. They have not received their money in many instances. I spoke to one of the people that do the contracting on the road. That's the pitching gangs. And they are still owed monies for January and February. So they have not been paid for the month of January. The 2 fortnights, they've not been paid that. They have not been paid for February. They've just received their money for December. Yeah? And I find that to be a real problem. Yeah. 440-7377. We got a call online. Good night. Hello. Hello, good night. Hello. Oh boy, something seems to be wrong with that caller's phone. Hello, good night. Okay, they don't seem to be hearing me. Yes, caller, you'll have to call back. I'm not sure what happened on your end, but you can give us a call back. Let's go to the WhatsApp. Hello,
good night.
Hi, good night, my dear. How are
Hello.
you? Hi, good night. Go right ahead.
Hi, good night, Sheldon. How you doing?
Ade?
Yeah. Well, I'm calling again now. On the behalf of... You hearing me? Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you clearly. You go ahead. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you clearly. You go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you. You go ahead.
Hello, good night, Sheldon. How you doing?
I'm good. You go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. We're hearing you.
I'm calling again on the behalf of the cooks again. Well, you know me, I don't give it up at all. Same old. We don't get nothing again. You hear what I'm saying? We don't get nothing again. And then, and the worst part about it, this morning they have a calling program on Shaggy, and people still calling and saying that we cooks going home with all the meat. We going home with all the seasoned meat. They still saying that we going home with all the seasoned meat. You hear what I'm telling you? Where we innocent. The cooks and them for the nation to sympathize with the cooks and them and plead to the government of Grenada to pay the cooks and them the money. The raise all pay. Sheldon, the raise all pay. And imagine, I don't shame to say, I go in the bank this morning, $120 in my salary. You hear what I'm telling you? $120 when the bank take out the loan and everything. Well, me as a cook, I go and talk to everybody. And nobody giving me answer. But Monday morning, I'm dressing up me and the cooks and them. And we taking a step. And we're going to stand for the right. And for the nation to stand up with us, some of them still coming and calling program and saying that we going home with all the meat in the government kitchen. But the government don't send enough food for we to go home with. And if we go home with any meat, we have a right. When they start to pay us with money, we could buy meat. For now, we cannot buy meat. So if we go home with meat where they are accusing us wrong, where they're accusing us wrong and say we're going to meat, we innocent. We still not getting we money and we still trying to look after the nation children. So I want them to plead with us. Nobody thinking Sheldon. I don't know where we have to go again. I don't know what we have to do again. But we suffering. We cook suffering. And we reach a stage we can't take it again because it's not right for us. It's hurting us. All cooks only calling and crying because it's hurting we hurt. You think it's easy? You think it's easy in this hard time to go and you get your little salary? You can't even make more money coming out because we have to pay more NIS now, more union fee. So we're getting about $800 now. And while all Imani and everybody showing up with the big money and nothing for us, it's not right. I mean, come on. All we doing, we looking after the nation children. We going inside the government kitchen strong and they tell me coming out crippled. And we still not coming out with nothing. Yeah, some of them, when they leave work, they still don't have getting the little pension. $300 we getting from NS because we salary is so low. I mean, come on, and then all kind of money passing all over the place, doing all kind of thing, and we can't get nothing. And people still coming and talking about we going home with all this seasoned chicken in the government kitchen. We innocent. Right now, I alone are in my kitchen and yeah, other cooks in other thing. I alone cooking for 200 train every day. Everybody leave and I stand up because I love the nation children and all you can treat us good. All you tell us last month they make mistake. This month again, we go back again. This month again, more disrespectful we getting. I mean, come on man, what we do, what the cooks do that we can get something to. So they have to punish us for looking after the nation children then. We don't do nothing. We don't crucify Jesus Christ. We just looking after the nation children. So treat us good. All they said was the lowest pay. Now only give everybody and we still don't get nothing. So we getting more, we getting less. And people are sympathizing that instead that they come and talk about we jogging chicken. Where you have chicken to jog? So that me plan for the night and I hot for all cooks. Because he hurting us. All right then. Good night, everybody.
All right, thank you. And let me say this though. I listened to Shaggy this morning, and I heard the allegations. I heard other things that were being said on the program. And I realized that there's a concerted effort. There's a concerted effort to twist this story. Now, here's what's going on when it comes to the National Democratic Congress. This National Democratic Congress, every time you challenge them on something, every time you show them up on something, every time you prove that they are lying, which we do every single week on this program, because fellas could tell you that the studies they starting next month going good. Yeah. When you catch them lying, they always try some sort of backup plan to try and twist the story. Yeah? So a promise was made by this administration, the NDC administration that is in office in the state of Grenada right now. A promise was made by them. The promise which was made is that they are going to abolish children having to pay any money in the school feeding program. That is not the NNP that promised it. Yeah, they say they are going to make the school feeding program free. Any person out there would know that they're talking nonsense to begin with, because it's still taxpayers have to pay for certain elements of the school feeding program. So it's not free. You may not be giving your children the dollar, but the taxes that you pay are still paying for the program. So it's not free. It's being paid for. Yeah? It's free if some foreign agency or some private sector business decides that they are going to provide the meals for the children. Then it's free for the parents. It's free for everybody because it's not your tax dollars doing it. It's somebody business place that doing it. That's a situation when it's free. So to try to give the impression it's free is absolute nonsense to begin with. But you said that you're going to eliminate. This is what they said. This is what they said. Somebody find the clip for me. It's me alone in the studio. So when I say find the clip, it have two people. They know what I mean when I say find the clip for me. Right. They said that they're going to eliminate within the schools the paying of the dollar for the thing. Now people, what is that dollar to pay? That is not the point. That is why critical thinking skills are lacking in so many of them. And some of them, they have basic critical thinking skills, but they believe that they could fool you. So now they're trying to gaslight you into believing that that is not the issue. What is that dollar to pay? It's not having to pay the dollar. It is that the government said that they will not have to. So what is the problem you're having in the schools now? The schools are being provided with some of the products, and so government is providing some. And then the schools have to raise their funds otherwise to try and buy the rest of goods. Caller, just call, am I right or am I wrong? Yeah? That is how it has been for a long time, yeah? But you said that you're going to eliminate. If you're saying that you're going to eliminate the children having to come with the dollar, it means that you are going to take over 100% of providing the groceries for the schools. That's what you're saying. Yeah? But again, it's another case of mouth open, word jump out. So now they're calling radio stations, and they set up the people to call radio stations, and we're going to come to one of those calls in a while. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello. Good night, caller.
Hi, good night, Senator Scott. Good night.
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Senator Scott, something I want to find out. I don't know if you can do that. Because we out here in the diaspora, I remember Mr. Andy Williams came and spoke in New York about, and even travel the same day, going to India. And he said that he had us to get $1 million. They promised him $1 million. And he even come back and said, they call him back and tell him, Andy, I will give you another $1 million. So I will give you $2 million. Because it's something about coconut plants and whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard anything about that anymore. And I don't hear you or Master Carla, none of them talk about this thing.
My brother, it's not just that, but there are several things that they have promised that they ain't start yet. We're still looking for 500 houses. We're still waiting on a cabinet conclusion We're still waiting.
know.
We're still waiting on the massive project that's supposed to take place on Karani James Boulevard /
Houses,
Lagoon
housing,
Road.
up to now,
We're still waiting.
where are the houses for the people? Where are the houses that they go to front and start talking about the condos and this and that, big press conference, and then everything go dead? So how the government does do things? I mean, we out here trying to figure it out. How they get things done? If you are Master Carla, Andre, the classroom, Jenny, don't talk about something, it never come to light. We don't have a press conference. Even I need to know. Sheldon, there is anything that's in place to put the government on the manners. Because to me, in other countries, they could put government on the manners. But in Grenada, it seems to be everything just going astray. You understand? I don't know. Maybe you could help me out and say, yes, we have things in place. We must put the government on the front of the manners. They can continue lying to the Grenadian people and think they will get a free pass. Something has to be done. In the days before, in daily time, what we do, they take to the street. They start to demonstrate. You understand? Now we having a third revolution because sooner or later, when people cannot take it anymore. You understand me? Look at that. Not to say we want that, but that's what we're going to end up to. Grenadians is sleeping. Please, Mr. Prime Minister, don't wake them up. We are a kind of people, so don't wake us up. Thank you, Sheldon.
Thank you so very much, caller. And I like how that caller come right to the rim and he do step over. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. My good friend, I need the clip of them talking about the school feeding program and where you wouldn't have to pay and that kind of thing, and they're making it free because they're taking the burden off of parents and that kind of. The burden is still on parents, brothers and sisters, because it's still Grenadians that paying for the school feeding. There's no problem with that, as far as I'm concerned. There's no problem with paying for the school feeding program. Yeah, but don't lie to the people and tell them that you're making it free and you have put nothing in place. It's a lack of understanding and pure malady. We have a caller online. Good night. Hello?
Hey, good night, Sheldon.
Hey, good night, bro. Go right ahead. You're live.
Right. I want to tell the cook, hold the strain, hold the phone. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. You know what to do next election. Just hold the strain. Things will get better. Don't let them have nothing on you. But Sheldon, this morning, I happened to listen to them programs, about 3 programs. And I heard a caller making assertions that there are people in the ministries that is doing these things and they are not doing their jobs. And these are the ones that are not implementing the policy that the government announced. So like the $500 for the Imanis and the $500 across the board for everybody that working in the public service. If you're under the $1,200 threshold. And these people are basically trying to say that it's not the government that do that, it's the administrators in the school. So the school taking the dollar for themselves. The level of all these people going and lie, and for no reason whatsoever. And you know what is sad? Both parties in this country, whoever you support, we are all Grenadians. You don't know who supports who because some of us doesn't show colors when we go to work. We go to work normally. But to make an assertion that one day is an NP and that one is an NEC and get that one out of the office there and fire that one and fire this one, we go down a dangerous road. And I'm calling on Deacon Mitchell, PM Deacon Mitchell, once again, talk to your supporters, talk to your sycophants, because this level of segregation you are trying to produce there, like the caller before rightly said, we don't want to go on that road. We don't want to go on that road of basically division, but they mean pushing it. You understand? And it's not a nice thing. It's not a nice thing. Trust me. But caller, cook, please, once you know your heart clean, you ain't eating no meat, just continue doing your work, and you know what to do next time. Shalom, have a good night.
All right. Thank you. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, and listen. So again, for those of you just joining, the government provides foodstuff for the school feeding program. Some parents in some communities, I know of communities where parents provide foodstuff as well. They may bring in, whether it's green banana or other things, and they donate towards the school feeding program. And generally, the dollar that they take from the children is to assist to buy other stuff that they do not have. We have a call online. Good night.
Hey, good night, Brother Sheldon.
Hey, good night. Go right ahead, caller. You're live.
Brother Sheldon, as you were saying, right? When the caller said that people calling Shaggy's money and talking about the $1, what the $1. Brother Sheldon, the issue not the $1. What the government said. The government said the school fee for the school feeding is free. They don't have to pay. That's the issue. What the government said. So if you know the $1, then no complaining. What if we say to people, they don't have to pay. That was said to you, keep a promise. Right? And they're not keeping the promise. Guys, they tell us something, Brother Sheldon. But what they say, they're not doing it. They're not doing it. And Brother Sheldon, I look at the health care of our nation. I ask myself the question, is the health care of our nation better? It is better. And when you do a survey under NDC and every government, the health care will get worse and worse and worse. Because since come into government, there is no sector in the agriculture, tourism, health, youth, sports, none of them sectors and them develop. It gets worse. We can have some ministers there, they can manage nothing at all. Wherever you put them, you do reshuffle and put them different places, the same thing. The same thing. Because only thing what they care and what they can manage, they pack it. And you have the Prime Minister say that, okay, when you're poor, people go to buy you. Right? People go to buy you because you're poor. And you cannot solve with distinction. But he rich. And he not serving people, he only serving himself and his friend. He only serving himself and his friend. Brother Sheldon, I always believe we have to do things right way. But it's time for we Grenada to call us government. More people should come out and speak about the evil that this government is doing to the poor people. The poor people working hard in the hard sun. While they sit inside the office doing next to nothing. But when to get money is not a problem. Not a problem. Those who work hard in the hard sun, right, to get the money is a problem. So like come out like money is difficult. Like the poor people don't need money. But the poor people that need money to make the country economy better. Brother Sheldon, have a blessing.
All right, thank you. 440-7377. That's the number to call and get onto the inside. So I was saying too. So the dollar that they take from the children is to get the rest of supplies so that they can actually do a proper meal for the children in the school feeding program. It's not that the school bad-minded and they're taking $1 from the children. It's not that the principal and the teachers and so on wicked and they're taking $1. They take the dollar because it is to help get stuff for the school. As I said, I know of schools that parents try and help. Parents would drop sometimes. Parents would come and they would bring, whether it's fruits or vegetables. And so in some of the communities, they would bring it to the school because they know the school needs it and so on. So when they plant and they bring something, they bring a pumpkin, they bring this, they bring that, whatever, and they try and they help. So that helps the school feeding program. Yeah? What they ought to be looking at is a different approach. Now, they said to the Grenadian people, we're stopping the dollar. You didn't put anything to replace it. I can't remember seeing in the budget, and anybody else that look over the budget document and see that they had a significant increase under the aspect of the school feeding program that would be able to cover the component where the children are paying their dollar. Please tell me. Yeah? But I can't say that I saw a significant enough increase under that program budgeted so that when you go to a school, you provide everything for the school feeding program in that school, and therefore they do not need to take the dollar from the children to make up the shortfall. Because you've made a policy statement. This is what we've been speaking about all week. This is what we've been speaking about in relation to the $10,000. This is what we're speaking about when it comes to the Imani payments, and we're going to speak a bit about those Imani payments in a while too. It is that they're stating policy without proper directives. They're not thinking about what they're going and do. They're just running their mouth, saying things, and then trying to force it to happen. And then when it doesn't happen, they're going back and blame the civil servants. So the civil servants have to stay there and take the lash now, because they are getting blamed for what these people, without thinking, went and try and implement. So when they say they're taking a policy decision, in other words, this is the policy of the NDC administration that we are paying bi-monthly. So the people who are within the system, who usually have the payroll to do for 500 people, for 1,000 people, yeah, they have the payroll to do for a 400 or 300 people. These people now, who usually had a month to put all that information together, right? So that by the 15th, because they start the month before, when they do the thing, they start again. So by the 15th of the month, that those paperworks can be in, so that people could have got paid by the end of the month. And then by the time they send in that paperwork, they start on next month. So they had a month to work on it. You told these people now that you have to do that basically in 7 or 8 days, what they used to have a full month to do. And then you jump on television blaming those people for your nonsense. You didn't say that, okay, to achieve this objective, this is what we want to achieve. So I don't know what kind of cabinet submissions the leaders have. Because I know before, when you see a cabinet submission, it say, this is what we want to achieve. This is how we are going to achieve it. This is where funding is going to come for, so on. But these are some of the pitfalls that you may encounter in trying to achieve. So I don't know what kind of cabinet submission they're having. Because all of these things, if they come to cabinet at all, or it's an afterthought to try and bring it to cabinet, that they make the policy statement and then try to ram it through a cabinet, these things are supposed to be properly thought out, so you know what the possible pitfalls are. So when you say you're going to do the bi-monthly payments, you look at what the pitfalls are, in the same way that Dr. Mitchell was saying that we looked at that, but when we considered the pitfalls in relation to doing it that way, that is why they stepped back from the idea. And now you're seeing what the pitfalls are. Because you are putting extra strain. You didn't improve the system first of distributing payments, which is what anybody with common sense or inkling of economic training and common sense would do. But as usual, as we say every night, we cannot accuse all you are having common or normal sense. Yeah? So you would improve the rollout of the system in relation to payments. You would look at what you have and you would try to make it more efficient. If it's necessary to bring in more staff, if it's necessary to change your software, if it is necessary to change your procedures in relation to how you make your payments so that it could be more effectively and quickly done. But no, leave the system that you had for many years working, the smart stream and so on. Leave it just so it is. Leave the same amount of staff. Give them double the amount of work. And when they can't complete it, then go and cost them. Yeah? Maybe the workers at the Ministry of Finance and the finance officers need to do as the cooks and just put on the red armband and go on the street. Or put on the red and go on the street. I'm sure they have red left over from Valentine's Day. Put it on and go on the street. Because it just makes no sense. We have a call online. Good night. Hello, good night. Good night, caller. You're live. Okay, they're gone. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call on the inside. You can call on WhatsApp. You can call directly. You can call, if you're in North America, you can call 347-329-3101. And in Grenada, you can call 440-7377. You can call us on WhatsApp or you can call us directly. Yeah. So if you do not look at the possible pitfalls of a policy statement, so you have a policy statement now that, hey, we are going to abolish children having to pay anything in the schools for the school feeding program. We're going to abolish that. So you're telling me that these dum-dum didn't look at the pitfalls? Why would the children pay in the dollar in the first place? What is the dollar going towards? And therefore, we're going to have to budget to cover what the children were paying for. we may have to improve the provision of goods to these facilities. We've got a call online. Good night.
Good night.
Hi, good night, caller. Go right ahead. You're live.
Yes. Concerning the school feeding program with the free food. Tell me how it's possible for them children to get free food when in a secondary school we only get 5 cases of chicken and 25 pounds of fish to last for 1 month. So tell me how that free food could ever be possible. Thank you.
All right, my dear. And again, you heard that, right? I hope you all heard that. And if you all didn't hear it, tell me, let me get a call back, because seriously, I hope you all heard that. It says that the policy statement was flawed. Before you go public with that policy statement, you should look at what the possible negatives of it are. But that is what happens when you're dotish and you don't know what you're doing. So you make nonsensical statements, you jump in front of the public and you say you're doing this, and you don't think it out properly. Did they even speak with the schools or the teachers or the principals and so on to find out what was taking place before they say they're implementing this? Because it doesn't seem so. Because then you would know that if you have the school feeding program in a secondary school, 5 cases of chicken and a much pound of fish cannot last for a month. It cannot last for a month. But yet still, you make your policy statement, we're doing this. Did they not realize that you're going to, 1, you have to improve the mechanisms for getting foodstuff to the schools. You have to improve that mechanism. 2, you are going to therefore have to increase funding to the school feeding program. Yeah? Working along with the Grenada Food and Nutrition Council to make sure that you are providing the correct type of food to the schools, right? And therefore you would have to increase the amount of money so that the schools would not have to worry that, hey, we're running out of this. Let's get some money together to go to whether it's bulk buy and buy some chicken or country cold store and buy some chicken or wherever. That you know that, hey, we have this. We don't have to rush out to get it. That there's a mechanism to check with the schools to find out when things are going low so that you know that you have to replenish. But instead of that, they're sending the stupid people to come and, yes, I'm calling them it. They're calling the radio programs to come and talk all kind of nonsense about, so what is $1? That is not the point. And you all know that. You all just bad-minded and wicked. You all know that is not the point. The point is that they said they would not have to. It was a promise that was made to the people. And then you have the other situation now when it comes to salaries and the workers within that system. You made another promise to them. A policy statement was made. The policy statement is that no worker in Grenada should be working for under $1,200. None, whether in the public or private sector. It doesn't matter. That no worker in the state of Grenada, from Petit Martinique down to Point Saline, not a single, and those out on the water too, no worker in the state of Grenada should be working for under $1,200. And therefore, how a cook in the school could still be working for the salary they're working for? You made the policy statement. Did you not know that you had people who that policy statement would affect and therefore you had to increase their salaries? We have a caller online. Good night.
Good night, sheldon.
Good night, my dear. How are you?
I think that the people know that they're just wicked and they like to cover up for this government. But one thing I have to tell them, the God I serve, He watching and He taking notes. When you see they go fall down, all of them who still have their head in the sand and not washing out the eye from the sand, they better wash it out and see what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. 440-7377. That's 44. Yes, just wicked. Because all you know is that is not the issue. That is not the issue. A policy statement was made. A policy statement was made that no worker in the state of Grenada should work for under $1,200. As such, no cook in any school should be getting less than $600 a fortnight. Yeah? Nobody should be getting $400. Nobody should be getting $300. And we're not speaking about after loan and thing here. We're talking about their full payment is that. and then you're taking out loan and thing from that. So no, none of them should be getting any 400 or 500 or so. What they should be getting is at least 600. And due to the minimum wage that was put out when it speaks to cooks and different thing, it really looks like in some instances it's 15 that they're supposed to be getting. So I'm trying to understand now why what is happening. Why are the cooks still receiving what was it called? 400 and something dollars for the month that you're receiving? That's what they're receiving now, 400 and something dollars. The policy statement was made by this administration. They went through an entire process going around the island, speaking with different people in relation to salaries and so on. Recommendations were made by people. Whether the recommendations were taken on board or not, I don't know. But recommendations were made. And then after those recommendations were made, you said that no worker in the state of Grenada should work for under $1,200. Yet still, the cooks in the school, they are not receiving any increase. So your policy statement is flawed. You did not, some of these things I'm wondering, they could never have taken these things, put it in a cabinet submission, and bring it to cabinet. They could have never put this in a cabinet submission and bring it to, well, maybe in their cabinet that could work. Couldn't be a cabinet.
Good night, Sheldon.
Good night, my dear.
When they was doing the minimum wage, they didn't take into consideration all the government workers under 1,002. So that means that is for the private sector stores, right? And it's for some of government workers and not for government workers. I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand. Where is Miss Claudette Joseph now to come to see that this thing regularized and everybody should be getting the minimum wage? What is she doing about it? She should make sure that the government workers who is under 1,002 get the minimum wage. They fall into it now. Thank you.
All right, my dear. And you see, this is the problem that we're having. These people are making flawed decisions. So they are just saying things out of the broadness of the mouth. Like some of them, they wake up in the night and they just say, I feel like that is something we should do. And they go ahead and they try to do it. And then while it's happening, they find all the flaws and the problems with it. We have a caller. We lost that caller. Yeah, afterwards, then they find out all the problems, all the pitfalls that are attached to that. So when they come and they say, we're doing bi-monthly, you realize they're having problems, and they're having problems because they did not think it through. It's the same thing even when they was paying the pensions. They did not think it through. Yeah? Because there's another component that coming up with the pensions, you know. There's another component that coming up with the pensions. I mean, we will have a program on that one soon. We have a caller online. Hello, good night, caller. Hello.
Hey, and how are you doing?
I'm quite fine. Go right ahead, caller. You're live. Go right ahead. You're live.
And yes, and I would just like to say, right, with all of this that is going on from the day these people get into office, it's a lot of chaos. Yeah? So much chaos. So much promises was made. And we Grenadians sit down and just taking everything. I remember when NNP was in office, they condemned NNP for every single thing. And today, everybody just taking it with this government and still defending them. What a pity. Good night, Sheldon.
All right, my dear. Thank you so very much. And that's the thing, because some of the people, and I like that caller, some of the people who were very, and I like to use the word vociferous, some of the people and them who was very noisy and talkative out there, they used to prattle every time NNP tried to do something. They was making a lot of talk out there. And if the things that are happening now were happening under NNP government, you would have been hearing their voices loud. All of a sudden, you can't hear them again. They gone on mute. But as far as I am concerned, these people have lost the moral authority to tell any incoming government, and there will be an incoming government in the not too distant future. Yeah? These people have lost their moral authority to tell the new government that will be replacing this one The NNP government that will be replacing this one after the next general election, these people have lost the moral authority to try and upbraid the NNP in relation to anything, because their mouth shut right now. Yeah, we have a caller online. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Sheldon.
Hi, good evening, my dear.
How are you?
Quite, I make out the voice now.
Good evening to you and your listeners.
How are you doing?
I want to agree with you that we are having some flawed decisions and in relation to the school feeding program. Because I'm wondering, was any consideration given to the school's capacity to really implement that program in the manner that they seem to want it to be implemented? That is, the principals must just apply that. What's about the capacity, the logistical arrangement that should be in place? There are some large schools. So for the small schools, it may not be a problem, much of a problem. But think of a large school with over 400 children or 5. And everybody decide they will be having free lunch. What about the added pressure on the cooks? And then we heard the complaints that the cooks were not, their salary was not increased. It's a lot of pressure on these people. What about storage? Additional stove? I don't know.
And you see, what I would say is, in a situation like this, what you do is that you speak with the schools and so on, you come up with a plan.
Exactly.
I know,
was any consultation held?
I can tell you, when I was young, and in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, what they did is they had centers. So the cooking never used to take place at the school. There was no school kitchen. Mm-hmm. They had centers in different areas that had responsibilities. Let's say they had a responsibility for 10 schools or 20 schools. So they would cook, they would package the lunches and so there, and you would have the trucks come and deliver, and you'd have trucks come and deliver juice. And they used to give us, back in those days in Trinidad, they give you milk and so like boxes with milk, peanut punch and that sort of thing, and yogurt and so. But they had the trucks that would come from that center and drop that off. In that way, parents didn't have to worry about sending any money or anything, because it was done from a center, not through the school, where you have the problem now of, if the school running low on something, you have to run and get it. They had a center for this kind of thing. And that might be the approach that our government has to take in relation to this. And probably that they're waiting for the thing to fail to take that approach so they could give the contract to do it to their friends. You never know.
So, but I think there is a communication problem, a serious communication problem with our current government in terms of getting information to where it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. They seem to be putting the cart before the horse.
Another, as we have you
but
on.
That's a sad case, though.
For the folks that don't realize, it's Miss Leonora George we have on the line with us.
Yes, it's me.
But also, when they spoke of the increase in seed payments, but only to specific categories of people under seed, again, it's a flawed policy statement.
Exactly.
Because the vast majority, well, you explain to the people.
Well, I did say all that glitters is not gold in relation to this, because the majority of households would not benefit from the $200 increase. Because especially with the saying that if you're already, the household is already receiving $500, they're not eligible. And so many households are already receiving $500.
Hold on, repeat that, because I don't think a lot of people know that part of it, that even if they have people over 65 or they are under the qualifying groups, that they still, under some circumstances, would not qualify. Explain it to them again.
Okay, so the seed has different target groups, and what is common among our seed households is that you have more than one target group within a household. So, for example,
it is very common to have a grandmother with grandchildren, and there might be a disabled or a mental person in that household as well. So in that case, even if the grandmother is 90 years, but the fact that there are children within the household, that household will not receive the $200 because they already at the maximum of $500. Okay, so that would eliminate a lot of the households. That just this this clause, you know, at first when I heard it, I said, okay, some people would get, but when I heard the clause that once the household is already receiving $500, then they're not eligible, I just had to hold my head. You know.
And I wonder why that is so when the Prime Minister was saying that the IMF report says we should be getting 650 for the vulnerable people should be getting that. And he had the opportunity again. He had the opportunity again.
Grenada know we are dealing with some fake people. I say no more. Have a good night, Sheldon.
No, you're gone.
I'm gone.
You can't do.
I'll come back again. Don't worry.
But before you go, I just want you to tell people what percentage, just roughly, because I know you wouldn't have the exact figures, but what percentage of people do you believe would actually benefit from that increase, the $200 increase? Well, really a $150 increase because they give back the, but anyhow, so a $50 increase.
Let's say 30%.
Only about, so 70% of the people under the program,
no, because
average, will not receive.
Half of the households. So if you have 5,000 households, and it might be more than half too, would be households with children.
Yeah, so them ain't getting, no.
Them ain't getting. And then think about now, those households at the maximum of $500 with 65 years and over. That would be a large chunk again. So the elderly who are likely or who will be benefiting from that increase are the lone elderly. That is, elderly persons 65 and over who live alone, nobody else in their household. Because if you have a husband and wife, and they could be 90 and 99, they will not receive the increase.
And you know, it probably had many of them sit down there waiting for the increase.
No, they wouldn't get it. What a pity.
Oh, goodness. All right, my dear. Thank you so very much.
Have a good night. I'm listening.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Again, folks, you see, flawed policy. Yeah? Flawed. Let me tell you, when you see it comes to people like Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, the Honorable Gregory Bowen, he'll always be honorable, the Honorable Gregory Bowen. You have Honorable Oliver Joseph and so. You see, when you bring a document in front of these people, you better make sure that you dot all your I's and you cross all your T's, because they will internalize it and they will throw it back at you and ask questions about it. So you could not bring faulty policy in front of these individuals. They would ask questions. They would look at the pitfalls, the possibilities. They say, yeah, but you know, this is a possibility that could happen and so on. But it doesn't seem as though anybody is sitting there. It looked like the most important part of cabinet meeting for this present administration is lunchtime. Yeah, that looked like the most important part of the cabinet meeting for them. Lunchtime. Because I can't understand how they could be making these kind of faulty promises to people. Now, listen, I hope you all understood what Miss Leonora George was just saying in relation to the seed. So outside of the fact that only roughly 30% of the people that are under the program, and that's just a rough estimate, would benefit from the increase, you also have the situation where other people who, by what they have said, that these are people that are over 65, or these are people who may be mentally ill. So you may have a mentally ill person in a home with somebody that is over the age of 65. So the two of them in the same home. And there are many situations like that around the island. Now, because both persons are getting seed payments, and one might be getting 250, the other one getting 250, and it makes it up to 500, that household will not qualify to receive any increase, even though they have a mentally ill person inside there, and they have a person that's over the age of 65. That household will not qualify. Yeah? So it's not just that the person is over 65 or mentally ill or differently disabled and so on, that you have a situation where they are going to receive the 200, you know. You still have another qualifying criteria, that the household cannot be gaining over $500 from the seed program already. Yeah, 500 and over. I'm pretty sure a lot of the listeners did not know that until Miss George said that tonight. But again, it just shows that these people don't, probably it is that they think all things in and they're just wicked. Yeah, they just decide we could bamboozle people. No, don't worry, they ain't gonna pick up on that one. Yeah, they would just bamboozle people. Because we see and we hear these things in all different areas, the flawed policy decisions that are being taken by this administration. Yeah? One after the other. Anyway, folks, the phone lines are open. 440, let's hear from you. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Let's hear from you all. Yeah? Remember, if you're increasing the salary of everybody, so I agree with the cooks and them, all the other stand up for it, they said they're doing it. We letting them get away with too much things now. Yeah? Look, the houses in La Colombe, still they empty. They're still empty. In Beaujeu, in Carriacou. We have a call online. Good night. Hello?
Yes, Sheldon. I come back again with a
no problem.
issue, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, that $10,000 that was supposed to be given to all MPs, right? And then you're hearing all sorts of things that the NNP didn't come and get it because they know why and all of that. Okay, let us put that aside. Yeah? And listen to what I have to offer. My advice. No, there is no medications in the hospitals. There is nothing in the clinics. The $10,000 that these 5 MPs on the NNP side have to get. I think Dr. Kitt should call a meeting, right? The independence already gone. So there is no need to get money for independence, for decoration and anything. Take that money, right? And utilize it if it's in the schools, the hospital, buy things for the hospital, buy things for the schools and what have you. Because they don't need that money. Yeah? Orlando Roman is saying, oh, yes, it was given and all of that. And they come and talk a set of crap. I don't know if he put his mouth below his shoes. I don't know. Right? And he been set to just, it's really sickening. So my advice to the MPs on the NNP side, you don't need that money for decoration. Independence gone. Take that money and utilize it for these things, these ills that we have here. Now, this morning I also happened to listen to Shaggy program, and they're accusing the cooks for thieving the meat and what have you. And then hearing that lady cry out her eyes tonight, yeah? I remember some years ago when Dr. Kitt had a meeting in America, when he said that the thief, more you put meat, more they thief meat. They chastise him, right? Somebody come now and say the cooks thieving the meat in the schools where and this is not true, they hush them out. Oh God, the level of hypocrisy is deafening. Grenadians, wake up. When you see wrong, spot it. Or they didn't give NNP a chance. And I'm not being biased. Yeah? Or they did not give NNP a chance to do anything. So, this is my take. This is my advice to the sitting MPs on the opposition side. I will give the rest to somebody else for tonight. Thank you, and thank you for listening to me. Good night.
All right. Thank you, my dear. 440-7377, and that caller just raised a valid point. When Dr. Mitchell spoke of a situation that he was informed of, Dr. Mitchell wasn't just saying things. He was speaking of a situation that he was informed of, and as leader of the country at the point in time, he had a right to raise the issue. Yeah? He didn't just come out of the air and say that. it was something that he was told and he raised the issue. They lambaste him left, right, and center. Well, I don't hear none of them this morning. I ain't hear any of them today. I ain't see no set of protests on Facebook and people complaining and all kind of thing about what was said. Yeah? Because is there people saying it? No. Is there people making an accusation? No, isn't it? Yeah? So all of a sudden now, is okay. Let me see if the Calypsonians going to be writing about that one now. Yeah? Let me see if the Calypsonians going to be writing about, you see the hypocrisy anyhow. 440, the caller is right. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yes, folks. So, we still have the complaints coming in here. Quite a significant number of people who have not received their salaries. A significant number of people that have not received their salaries. So you're wondering, well, what really going on there with this thing? Because you have the people who have been doing the pitching work and so on. They didn't get it. The thing. They keep keeping back payments for these people. They spent Christmas. They didn't get what they're supposed to get. All kind of thing. All kind of thing keep happening with these people. They have family to take care of too. The people that just patch them pothole and thing. They have family to take care of too. So they just imagine, this is February, the middle of February. They just get the December money. So that means these people had to go over Christmas without the money. So they just get the December money. So the January and the February money is still outstanding. And I mentioned that we would get to the money and them. There's a serious problem still taking place. Yeah? So for all that you've been hearing about the increases and all this back and forth about what taking place with the Imani and this thing, there are Imani trainees that received their stipend that didn't get an increase before but now get the $500 increase, who under what they are saying do not qualify for the increase. And some who should be getting the $500 increase, instead of that, they ain't get no increase. We have a caller online.
Good night, Sheldon Scott.
Good night, my dear. How are you?
I don't so well at all.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling well this evening myself. No, but I come in still.
Anyhow, I listening to everybody. I listened to the lady this morning. She said that the cook going home with all the meat. What I'm saying is she know the cook going home with all the meat. Why didn't she report that to those in authority? The principal or whatever. That is a setup. But you know something? Sheldon had 2 ulcers on my foot, and I didn't really pain day and night. I just sorry for what's happening to these people in Grenada. Carriacou and Pity Matnik. I have no sympathy for them. The Grenadian people said Dr. Kit Claudius Mitchell didn't do nothing. And the best thing that happened for them is baby Jesus, our precious Prime Minister. And I like what Deacon Mitchell doing them. Watch. You don't see when he was speaking about who give you money, all the money clapping. I was sorry for them. I can Camille Teresa Scott. I was sorry for all you because all you too bad mind and hypocrite. Dr. Mitchell did enough for this country and y'all will not speak out. Are you afraid, Mr. Mitchell? Are you afraid are you going to lose all your friends in society for the wrong thing are going on in Grenada? So it's good. I don't want you sorry for me. If you see me where you would follow, pass me there. Leave me there. I took bad mind. Dr. Mitchell helped 90% of y'all in this country children to get scholarship, to get good jobs. He help all your parents and all you take out your mouth and say you don't do nothing. I'm sorry because Mitchell mustn't give you nothing. Nothing. I have no apology. Somebody don't must buy from me. Somebody don't must call me. I don't live in value. It's damn good, excuse me. It's good. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for all you. I'm sorry for none of you. And are you just that? Think just that. I watch Ron. I look at Ron, and the TV. I'm sorry for that young man. I used to speak to him. That man used to come to me. I used to warn him. I just sorry for all you. All these ungrateful set of people. All the ungrateful. Dr. Kit Mitchell, that bill that terminal. Everybody coming and make a dollar, they know. Everybody in Grenada, down to Jamaican, Ghanese, African, they pass in on that terminal and sell. Grenadians take them out and say, Kid don't do nothing. You don't do nothing. What did you do? What did Mitchell do? Tell me. Tell me what Deacon Mitchell do. Mr. Deacon Mitchell, doggy them. Doggy them. I don't grateful. Dr. Mitchell, he had peace. He had peace with himself. Because he know what he did for this country. And I had nothing good to say. And a lot, not all, a lot of NNP, they buy all over. 30 pieces of silver. 30 pieces of silver. One of them in the terminal. Dr. Mitchell called her to get the work. She provoking me now. Up. We're going up. You know what going up? Light bill. Water. All these things are going up. Are you afraid to speak? The churches. Are you afraid to speak? In the church. The pastors. The elders in the church. Nobody speaking. Well, didn't give you something to drink? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what didn't give you. No, they bring up a man, a president from Africa. So more African coming in just now. He going away. When he come back, he tell all you get $1 in Canada in England. Nothing. He have nothing to report to y'all. He don't care about y'all. And I don't pray none of y'all. Because before Deacon Mitchell become Prime Minister in Grenada, I've been eating, I drinking, and I've been walking. So Mr. Deacon Mitchell deal with all you. And his supporters are just sorry for none of you. All of you have a wait. Ungratefulness is a sin. Dr. Mitchell, Mr. David, Miss Clarice Modest, Miss Spear. These people walk with y'all. All you want vote. Take what all you get. I don't know why you, Sheldon, wasting your time to pitying them. You speak about the oil spill in Trinidad. This morning I hear they talking about the government now. Talking point, always give them advice. This morning on Shaggy said the government talking about the oil spill in Trinidad. They're waiting for you to give them advice. I don't sorry. I want to lose friends. I don't sorry for what going on. Have a good night. Dr. Mitchell, good night, sir. Take your rest.
All right, Cavi. Yes, indeed, folks. 440-7377. That's the number to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. I could have never believe that people still messaging me and telling me that they ain't getting the salary. I never believed that could have been happening in Papa God Grenada. No, nah, man. I know that. Yeah, I that can't be. Let me see if that taking place. Let me find out if that taking place in our Grenada right now.
Don't worry your head too much about empty treasury. We in the NDC, we have the exposure. We have had the exposure. Good? And we know what to do to find money, to look after them.
Some of them clapping, they probably don't get paid too. So anyway. Yeah, some of them paid, they probably don't get a salary either. But anyhow.
Our people. And as I have...
Now you see, some of them in the crowd, they probably don't get a salary, they said that, but anyway. But anyhow.
As we go around the country and we speak to our people, that's a topic that they always say to us, we go pay salary late and we don't know how to run a country. Tell them that we say we know how to run a country and tell them that we wouldn't pay salary late.
If you get an I in the word run, you mean ruin. Anyhow.
All right? Tell them that affirmatively. We're not going to pay salary late and we know how to run a country.
Yes, indeed, folks. 440-7377. And we have a call online. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Scott. And how are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yeah. On the 16th of May, 2022, Delma Thomas came to Carriacou and distributed some houses.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they come and they take back the houses from the people. We need Delma Thomas to come to Carriacou now. She could come next week because next week is court. Come up next week and let us have a discussion. And if there is any problem, we're going to take her to court. I could stand alone. But I know I got the full support. Tell her, come with a bag pack. We're going to have discussion and anything, we take her to court. Thank you.
All right, my brother. And again, that's the thing, Remember, and let me take this call before I go on to that one. Hello, good evening, caller. You're live. Go right ahead.
Hi, Sheldon. Good night. How are you?
Hey, I'm quite fine. You go right ahead, my dear.
Remember the people and them said they have no original ideas. Remember that. Okay. Bye, Sheldon.
All right, my dear. Well, they did say they have no original ideas. Yeah. Not me that say, them say that, right? But saying, when it comes to the houses in Carriacou, and good night to those of you listening via 92.9 out there in Carriacou. Good night to each and every one of you. They did say that the houses was a problem and it was distributed wrong and all kind of, but the person who was in charge of that, you all went and you all make them a government minister. You all take them and you all make them a government minister. You not NNP take them again and make them after. I'm not saying that. You all were saying that the person do wrong because they didn't just send somebody to give out the houses. They went in Carriacou themselves. Why are you ain't talking with them and asking them questions about it? But the houses sit down there in Carriacou empty. Empty. We in February. The houses finished since long. They sit down there empty. Just like the ones in Beaujeu. Just like the ones up in St. Patrick. Just like the ones over there in St. David. They sit down empty. Yeah? I wonder what Mr. Philip tell us what did say?
Minister, can you give us an update as to how the process is unfolding as it relates to the Chinese low-income housing project in terms of distribution?
The committee has gotten to its final stage of work. That's the committee that has been set up by Cabinet for the distribution of the housing units. They have gotten to the final stage. As a matter of fact, they are now in Carriacou. They are now looking at the distribution of the housing units in Carriacou. And they have looked at what has happened in Carriacou. And unfortunately, we have to review the entire process because the letters that were issued to potential homeowners or unit owners in Carriacou has not followed due process. By that I mean that there was a cabinet select committee that was used for the distribution of those units. That committee was not involved in the process. That's for the early distribution prior to the general elections held in June last year. As a result of that, the committee has decided that they would consider all applicants, those to whom letters were already distributed and those who did not get any letters. All of those in Carriacou who have applied will be duly considered. The entire process will be walked through by the selection committee to ensure that a fair and transparent process is upheld. So we recognize that the initial process that was done for the distribution of those housing units up to the process of the letter distribution, that process was flawed. And
so who was the minister that did that? Let me take this call. We will come back to that. We have a call online. Good night. Hello, good night.
Good night.
Caller, you're live.
Yes, hello, good night. You hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. Go right ahead.
Yes. Tell Andy Williams, stop lying to the people. Stop bribing and lying to the people. To me, they have their own agenda by coming to power. They're victimizing the vulnerable, the poor, and the needy in Grenada, Carriacou, and we're already tired with them. Andy Williams is a liar. Thank you.
All right, my dear. Yes, indeed. 4407377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside. While I was playing the audio, I know I did miss a call or two, so folks, you can call back. Yeah, I know I did miss a call or two there. All right, yeah, so if you're saying, your government is saying you had to go to the extreme. You had to go to the extreme, and remember, people already get approved. This is your house. They contact, Carriacou people as operate. So family overseas say, yes, you're getting, they start to help, they start to send what they have to send. They say, okay, we go help you outfit, different things like that. And then at the end of the day, they take the house back from you. We have a caller online.
Good night.
Good night. Go right ahead, you're live.
The people can't buy the house because the houses, they say they're selling it. Poor people can't buy house. They say they had to pay $75,000 for one house. A person 60 years and over, the bank is lending us money. So how we go buy the house?
Yes.
Bank is lending poor people money. You're working for $500 a month. Bank will lend you money to buy a house.
All right. Thank you so very much, my dear.
If you blind them in Syria, they're joking. Hey, they're really joking. Yes.
All right, thank you. 4407377. That's the number. Yes, sir. I think they did. Yeah, 4407377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. Because one of the things that's happening with those houses and them, from what I personally have heard, from one individual that went to try and get a loan, when they went to a particular bank, the bank said, well, why they keep sending all you here? And they know that we're not going to be dealing with that. Why they keep sending you all? And they know we're not going to deal with that. We have a caller online. Good night.
Good night.
Hi, good night, caller. Go right ahead.
Yes, Sheldon. Hello?
Yeah, you go ahead. We're hearing you. You go ahead.
Yes. Yes, Sheldon. Deacon had to stop this kind of thing he getting on with because he said he was raising salary when January for all the housekeepers and cleaners and stuff. And we ain't seen nothing as yet. I guess as we get in the 210 for bus allowance that come reach up to the 1200. So you have to stop at that. Don't tell people thing, and then when workers looking out for something different than their salary, everything change. You all know we looking and we can't get nothing as yet. You have to stop at that.
Oh, goodness. All right, my dear.
For the amount of things we just have to go through in this hospital, cleaning all this dirt, treat people better than that. I mean, come on.
All right, my dear. Thank you so very much for your input. All right, thank you. Yeah, folks, because... And don't get it wrong. It's based on a promise. People are calling and they're speaking about things that are based on promises. Yeah, and they are realizing, and they've realized that the promises have turned out to be lies. And I was telling you all, one individual, because that individual is retired, They went to the bank and the bank said, well, I don't understand why they keep sending all here because we told government already we're not dealing with this thing. And especially for a person who was retired. We have a caller online. Good night. Go right ahead, caller. You're live.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening, Brother Sheldon.
Yes,
good
go right
evening to
ahead.
you and good evening to Neda. Well, you know what? We've been saying all along that these persons, these subjects that are in government, right? They are tricking people. That's the modus operandi. They are tricksters, and if you really listen them closely, you'd realize that they're using a lot of diversionist tactics on us, on Grenadians. Whenever, just think about this. Someone said before that whenever there are decisions to be taken in this country, the Prime Minister is absent. You always have some acting Prime Minister, who jumping all over the place. Yesterday I saw him running up the road with the government transport. Listen, that's a waste. And some of this money that these people are wasting should be used for the rebuilding of houses and repairing of houses. Listen, under the former administration, just think about this for a while. We never had, and a matter of fact, the 2008 government under Prime Minister Tillman Thomas said that they came to get rid of wastage. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Waste and when 2013, the reason why we were so successful financially, and we had put away some in consolidated fund and that funding that we had put away for in case of a disaster, right? And the people was able to get back. Look, COVID came, and every month, when I was called to ask the wardens to go get the salary, I had to ask the person that called from the ministry if they're serious. Yeah, because I said no, we didn't work, but they say it's a disaster. It's not a disaster, but a pandemic. So we would receive our salaries as usual.
Mm-hmm.
That is governance. But listen, these people have $15 million for independence. Huh? Just in a dry, glad run. Huh? Look, I listened to the guy last night, the brother from St. David's call last night. That up to yesterday, they didn't receive the money. Huh? Some of this money, I mean, they could be compassionate, man. The government could put on the compassionate cap up on their heads and start looking at the needs of the people. Let me tell you, officials, you hear the Grenadian people talking up now. Listen to many of them. And a lot of new callers been calling this program, this Talking Points program over the last few weeks. It's amazing how many new callers from the diaspora and even here in Grenada calling out. That is a sign. That's a sign, Prime Minister and your cabinet. That's a sign. Woe unto you all who are calling good evil and evil good. Stop taking us for a ride. Stop doing that. You heard Sister Kami? I pity Sister Kami, how the burden that she has, and all the lies that they told on Dr. Mitchell and Mr. Bowen, Honorable Bowen, and all the former ministers. The lie, listen, all the tears and all the grief would come back and haunt you all. I'm telling you this. Take care. Keep on calling Grenadians. Keep on calling. Call the program. Call and share your disgust, of all these things that are happening. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you very much. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to tonight's program. Yes, indeed. That's the number for you to call and get on to the Talking Points program. Yeah. Yes, folks. You can't be accusing a person of doing wrong, of wrongdoing, and then you hire the person and you give them a senior position within your organization. And NDCites sit down there and take that, The same person that used to be calling all kind of names, the same person that they're saying was incompetent in relation to the distribution of the houses in Carriacou. is the same person that they take and they hire. We have a call online. Good night.
Mr. Scott, just for 2 seconds.
Yes, sir.
The government must call a press conference, you know. That is urgent, you know. They must call a press conference and sit down around the table, let the journalists ask them questions. The country cannot run like that, Senator Scott.
My friend, they are afraid. They are afraid of the questions that would be asked, and as such, they're going to continue to duck from having a press conference. They are afraid.
They shouldn't fret. They shouldn't fret. They say they know how to run a country, so they shouldn't fret. You understand? The Prime Minister had to learn to be a man. You understand me? Take charge of your country. You understand? Have the press conference. And they should have that every week. Don't tell the Grenadian people it's in a need to know. The Grenadian people who put you there. You didn't put the Grenadian people there. They put you there. Because everybody couldn't go and sit up on one chair. You understand? So that's why they put you there. To represent them. Come on, Mr. Prime Minister. Do better than that. Otherwise, you will go down in history as the worst Prime Minister, you know, ever passed through Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Mark my word. Don't do what people like. Do what is right. Mr. Prime Minister. Have a good one, Sheldon.
All right. Thank you so very much. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. When Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell on the campaign trail in 2022 was saying that before you take leadership, you should really go through a process. Yeah? You should go like to a political school. You should go to a leadership school. You need to understand the processes involved in leadership. You're seeing the results of that right now. We have a call online. Good night. Hello, caller. You're live. Go right ahead. Hello. Okay, we lost that caller. All right, caller, you can call back 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, when he was saying that you need to go to a leadership school and you need to learn, because you have some people now, even when developing policy, they're just creating policy out of thin air and they're not thinking it through. So when comes time to implement, because they did not look at the possible negative effects, the pitfalls, what is happening is that they're trying to force through policy without the proper procedures being put in place. And then you hear them complaining about, oh, it's too much bureaucracy in the government system, and they worried about the government system and too much bureaucracy and this and that with it. That is not the case. If you put your policy in place proper, if you properly think out the policy that you're looking to implement, and if it's really about helping people, because I'll tell you something, all that we've spoken about here is just to cover the fact that they double their salary. They talk about minimum wage. To use that, so when the people talk and say, well, all it double all your salary, they will say, but we raise everybody else on. That's what they will say. We raise everybody else on, so if we raise we own, so what? That is why they go through the minimum wage thing, you know. As a response when they speak about the money that they are making. Now they talk about, oh, what are the real costs of living reduction measures that they have done? Yeah? You hear them talk about projects like they talk about, oh, we're going to do the Lagoon Road and things like that. You see them do. What they do on the Lagoon Road? Apart from, you see, some posts go up and some rope or chain or whatever it is pulled through it. Outside of that, you see the park developed and all kind of thing. Well, I see like Soupmaster Place finally open. But you see any other development, all the thing they talk about, they put up big billboard, all kind of thing, nonsense thing. You seeing any development taking place there? They come and they talk. Yeah, we go do that and we go do this and we go do the other and thing. And they're just talking without thinking about what it is they're saying and if that is going to have a positive effect. or if the government has the capacity to do what it is that they're saying. And that is where the problem keeps coming up. Yeah, that is where the problem keeps coming up. Anyway, folks, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program, 440-7377. And of course, folks, remember, we will be having our Talking Tuesdays. We should be having a guest on with us this Tuesday coming. This week, I don't think we didn't have a guest on with us this Tuesday, but we will be having a guest on, God's willing, with us this Tuesday. Of course, our normal open program on a Monday where you can call in, and we're going to talk about one or two issues, but that's going to be taking place. And then during the week, we have some other issues that we will be raising during the week next week. But again, we are hoping that by Monday that we hear some more in relation to the oil spill issue. That's the first one. We're hoping that by Monday we hear some more in relation to that oil spill issue. So we just want reassurance that Grenada is out of danger. If we're out of danger, just come out and say so. Say Grenada is out of danger. It gone to the west, it gone to the east, it ain't going north, whatever. Assure us that Grenada is out of danger, that we don't have to worry about waking up one morning and we seeing oil on our waters or on our beaches or so on. We want to be assured that measures have been taken and measures are being taken in case that happens. Yeah? We heard that the cooks, they say on Mondays a different thing with them. So Monday, they might be going out and doing what they have to do. And so we're hearing the cooks in relation to Monday and what should be happening. Also, we have one or two other things that should be taking place during the week next week. And remember, this week you had, because I'm kind of reviewing some of the stuff that happened this week as well. This week, you had the Public Workers Union writing to the members. But again, even the Public Workers Union, you're writing to your members after the government had a meeting with you, and the minister basically repeat all the stuff that he was saying about it's the finance officers in the ministry to blame for this and that and so on. The overworked and overburdened finance officers. Yeah? So he's taking all the blame out of his ministry. Because remember something, and this is where I think I have to take back a statement that I made last night when I was not blaming the Ministry of Finance. I'm blaming the Ministry of Finance now. I take back what I said. Because when the minister could make the statement that there is a review process that takes place at the Ministry of Finance, then he had to take the blame. So you can't tell me that you know that John Jones is supposed to receive a 4% increase. You at the Ministry of Finance, for you to have a review process, you must know that John Jones have to receive a 4%. Other than that, what you're reviewing, you just implementing when the ministry send over something, you just pay. But no, you have a process where you're verifying that that is indeed the amount a person is supposed to receive. So if the person is receiving the wrong amount, then the Ministry of Finance has to take blame too. I ain't absolving all you totally again. The minister saying that all you to blame. Because he clearly stated that there is a review process that takes place at the Ministry of Finance when it comes to the payment of different. In fact, let me see if I could find the minister. I know some of you don't like to see him. Yeah, I know, he's a pretty guy. But anyway, let me hear what the minister had to say there. Yeah, let me take a bit of what the minister had to say in relation to that issue.
Right. Another thing I wanted to point out, because you'd hear it outside also, is that, oh, well, we didn't get pay on time and there's delays in payment and so on. I'm saying that from the Ministry of Finance standpoint, we want to encourage the finance officers in the various ministries and departments. Do your work and do it on time. If you know something has to happen, don't wait until the 99th hour and then push the blame on the Ministry of Finance, because we have an obligation to verify the information, make sure it is cross-checked before we can print a check. But if, for example, a staff member has an increase in salary to get, and it's coming from the ministry of, let's say, X or Y, and it gets to the treasury and so on, and that increase is not on top of 10 and so on, the person may get a short payment. But it's not the Ministry of Finance that pay you short. It's what we get from your ministry and so on, and we verified it. We paid it.
So if they get it from the ministry and they verify it, You have to be verifying because you know what is supposed to be there. So I'm giving all you the blame too. If you have a process, what you're verifying? What are you verifying? If you have a process where you are verifying this information that is sent to you by the ministries, yeah, you are reviewing it. So a ministry sent to you, they say you're paying John Jones, he has to get 4% increase, he has to get $150 traveling allowance, he has to get entertainment allowance of $40 or whatever it is. So he has to get all these things. You are saying that there's a process within the Ministry of Finance that reviews these things. You ain't just paying, you ain't just get it from the ministry and they say, John Jones, that is almost they say pay him. You are saying there's a review process. If there's a review process, Mr. Minister, you are to blame.
Verify the information. Make sure it is cross-checked before we can print the check.
So they're verifying and making sure the information is cross-checked?
And over. And then push the blame on the Ministry of Finance. Because we have an obligation to verify the information, make sure it is cross-checked before we can print the check. But if, for example, a staff member has an increase in salary to get, and it's coming from the ministry of, let's say, X or Y, and he gets to the treasury and so on, and that increase is not on top of 10 so on, the person may get a short payment. But it's not the Ministry of Finance that pay you short. It's
the Ministry of Finance that pay you short? Yeah. Because you all have a responsibility to double check the information, and if there is an error, so you're saying that if somebody makes a mistake and they send, they say, okay, this person that's supposed to be paid $3,000 is instead given, let's say they're given $300,000 because somebody in a ministry made a mistake, that you all just going to pay it because the finance officers there say pay it? Or are you all going to call and question, hey, the figure you have here is wrong? Yeah? That's what I want to know. Let me fix the face there for you. All right,
we get from your ministry and so on, and we verified it. We paid it. So I'm appealing to our finance officers or permanent secretaries who are the so-called persons that need to make sure they verify that everything that goes from the ministry to the Ministry of Finance is done properly and is without errors. And those persons who are still out there skylarking, I would say, because you need to make sure that you do your work. And if you didn't do your work on time, don't blame the ministry at the end of it, because so many times I've been calling my PS and the Accountant General to verify this and verify that. Sometimes it's not really in the treasury as yet.
Yeah, because in December I know you had issues with some individuals complaining that they did not get their wages on time.
Yes, but just imagine.
You're saying it's simply because officers did not complete their paperwork in time for processing.
Yes, but again I must say that the stocks of people that is involved, especially for example the Bushin people, and so, I believe that we have to find a way at addressing that problem, because I mean it's just too much people. And if you have little.
And let me say here, while for one particular program you may have some paper involved, the government has a system they call Smart Stream. It was implemented years ago. I think under the New National Party that was implemented. You have Smart Stream. It is an electronic system, so you're not dealing with no pile of stack of paper. They're still trying to give Grenadians the impression that in the Ministry of Finance is some big logbook that they have just writing out stuff, and so nearly everything is on the computer. You may have a project that, yes, there are some paper involved. Then increase the staff in that department to get the job done in an effective period of time. Yeah? How it is back in the days, people like the Honorable Emlyn Pierre used to stay in the ministerial complex until 1 and 2 in the morning when they're working on particular projects to get it done. Yeah? Because they knew that they had to put in extra to get something done. So if you all need to pay people on time, because remember, you all are the ones who say you ain't paying people late and thing, you know. You all are the ones say you wouldn't pay people late and you know how to run country, but people learning different right now. They're learning that they were lied to. They're learning that they were lied to. And folks, yes, I'm going to take an extra 10 minutes because I did start late tonight. So I'm going to take an extra 10 minutes to complete tonight. Yeah? And you can still call 440-7377. I accidentally had the phone line engaged. So you all can call 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. And remember, you can also call us on WhatsApp. Yeah. They were the ones that say that they're not paying people late. They are the ones that say they're not going to deal with contracts. Remember the contracts talk?
Employment. An NDC government will put an end to contract workers in the public service as soon as it takes office. There is no need for a parallel public service in Grenada. All workers will be given permanent status. This will allow these workers to enjoy the same benefits that a current public servant now enjoy. We will also ensure that all workers benefit from pension and gratuity.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So that let's hear it again.
Employment. An NDC government will put an end to contract workers in the public service as soon as it takes office. There is no need for a parallel public service in Grenada. All workers will be given permanent status. This will allow...
Not some workers, all workers will be given permanent status. We have a call online. Good night.
Yeah, good night, Sheldon. What going on?
Hey, I'm good, man. You go right ahead.
Yeah, Sheldon, you know what's going on right now? You know what because of that? One of the biggest liar ever make and a minister is against Mr. Oliver Joseph. And I show you the way aware of that. I can remember the day of the election, the allegation go out and see they catch Mr. Oliver Joseph sprinkling powder by the station. As the election done, you don't hear nothing like that again. And people saying that the police and then they saw him. I don't hear nothing of that again. And that's, I can remember when I came from work. Alright? People meeting me and tell me, while election going on, people meeting me and tell me, look, they catch. That is that have a big impact on the voters of St. David's. That time, that had a big impact on the voters of St. David's. Because people meeting me and tell me, oh, they hear, oh, they catch Mr. Oliver sprinkling powder. Up to this blessed day, you don't hear nothing like that again, Sheldon. Nothing like that again. So our going on there is a course. These people are getting is a course. You understand? It's a course. I tell you that spread around St. David's. I don't know if you knew about that. You understand?
I heard the nonsensical allegation. I heard that.
Yeah. I don't hear nothing of that again. All that is the impact. What's going on right now is the impact of this course. Them people watch, Sheldon. I watch Mr. Ron Redhead the other day, and I don't know if you did listen to the program. They ask the man they ask him when he go and study. He say on the foot.
I could see you miss most of the programs this week if you're asking me if I see that program.
Alright, okay, well, yes, look at that.
I could see you miss most of the programs this week, bro. But go ahead.
It's true, yeah. So they ask him when he go on study, see on the foot. I don't know if it's the foot of by the prison or because he never say what time, what foot, or if it's the February, if it's March, whatsoever.
Well, it can't be February. February gone. 4th of February gone.
Right. Well, I don't know if it's the one by the prison lobby. I don't know if it's that one too.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, and he come back and he say, the study going good. So if you say you going on the foot, how the study going good?
Brother man, we who exposed that on this program. You're telling us what we expose? You missed the program in shoot.
I'm behind time. You know? So I'm saying Oliver Joseph, man, I want you to stand out, man. You see that man? How Senev is blossoming right now is because of that man. That man do real work in St. David's, and we could see his fingerprint all over. Look the fire station up now, they don't have a chuck in the fire station yet. Up to now, they don't have a chuck in the fire station yet. Mr. Oliver Joseph, that be a real partner. I know if you're listening, you know who is it. Hats out to you, sir. You do your part. You do your part. Thank you very much.
All right, my brother. Thank you. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, what Trinidad Express say? Maduro ready to help. Yeah, Maduro ready to help Trinidad and Tobago with the oil thing that the boat they leaking the oil and thing. Yeah, so right. So nice. Maduro ready to help. Yeah, so Maduro looking to help Trinidad, and so I don't know if Grenada looking for help too. Anyhow, but we ain't hear nothing. They ain't find it's necessary to tell us anything. So they have not been telling us anything about that. Probably they don't find it's necessary that they report to us in relation to that issue. Yeah, they probably don't find it's necessary for them to report to us, the Grenadian people, on that particular issue. Let me see if I see something else here in relation to that. Let me see what else I could pull up in relation to that oil spill issue. Yeah, I think I find another thing. Where is it? Yeah, right. Bring it across. Nice. Yeah, so vessel sinks offshore Tobago causing oil spill. Yeah. They said the boat was not in Guyana. So there are other stories. Yeah, there are stories there in relation to that boat issue on various sites and so on. And all we're saying is we hope the oil don't reach up here. That's the main thing. We just want to make sure that the oil stay down there and it don't reach up here. That's the main thing. All right? Yeah, because we can't deal with that one right now. You see, we have some cruise ships coming in and so they're liking themselves. When they reach in Grenada, they love the place. You understand? So we don't want to have to tell them try another island for a while we clean up. No, we don't want to go through that. Nice? We want to make sure that everything is... Well, what's the matter? I'm getting just a one ring on the phone line there. Let me just make sure everything is okay because just getting a one ring and it cutting off. So I'm not sure why that is happening, but let's hope that is fixed. Yes, indeed. Folks, 440-7377. I could take probably about one more call before we end tonight. One more call before we end for tonight. All right? Yeah, and then I'm preparing for next week too. Yeah, we have a lot of things to talk about next week. We've got a caller. Good night.
Good night, so how you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm great, bro. What's up?
What's up, man? I don't know what's nothing going on in St. David's area, man. What's going on? Nothing going on. We need to see things happening. We need to see things happening. Look the liquor pavilion in Malmong, they just they're rattling just to castle. What's going on? Nothing much is going on for St. David's. I don't know what's going on with this Prime Minister. This Prime Minister, you ain't ready yet. The Prime Minister already yet, man. I don't know, man. Look, the fire truck, as the man talk about the fire, next caller talk about the fire truck. Nothing much going on for St. David's people. What's going on? Well, nothing going on. I just travel around Ireland right through every day. I don't see nothing going on. All people doing is complain. Are they complaining?
Okay.
Yeah, nothing much going on for St. David's people. And I hear a lot of workers. I was on the road just today. A lot of workers, government workers complaining they ain't getting pay. Fellas say 3 weeks now they're working and they don't getting pay. Yeah, the government workers, the guy say up to 3 weeks now he working and they can't get pay. He working with government and they can't get pay.
Yeah, and I'm hearing also that some people have not received the increases, and then you saw the Public Workers Union send a letter. They had a meeting with government in relation to that because a lot of the workers didn't receive the 4% increase. They didn't receive the increase for last year or this year. And some instances they don't receive for this year. Some instances, instead of the money go up, it went down, which is strange.
But where the teachers union, where Teacher Jude, what's he doing? Only when one government they in power, they know they will get the increase. They go and protest, they marching, all kind of thing. You understand? But anytime NDC government in power, they back down all tail below the bottom. They under the bus. When NMP up, everybody coming out. That can't work. Alright, we will link up Sheldon, take it easy.
Okay, you say bless, bro. Yes, indeed. And I said I would take one more. I could still take one more. Yeah, I could still take one more. Not for the road, yeah, maybe for the highway. I could take an next one or possibly two before I head on outside. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So 440-7377. That's 440-7377. I know it's going to take a 1 or 2 minutes sometimes before you hear that I will take a one more. So 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside. Let me go to the phone line. Hello. Good evening.
Hi. Good night.
Good night, caller. Go right ahead. Yes, you're live. Go right ahead. Caller, you're live. You can go. You're live. You can go right ahead. You're live on air. Go right ahead. Yeah, you've gotten through to the program. You can go ahead. Hello.
Hello, good night.
Yes. Listen to us on the phone line, please. You're listening via the device in the background. Just listen to us and go right ahead. You're live. Go ahead.
Hi, good night. Hello?
Yes. Pay attention to the phone, please. Listen to us on the phone.
Yes.
You're hearing us on the phone?
Yes.
Okay, go right ahead. You're live, so you can go ahead.
Since NDC got in power, we haven't gotten any pay slip. I did call once and I asked them about it, and they said to me that the machine break down, and they said I went to the bank to get a loan, and they said to me that they're not taking pay slip on your phone, because what they're saying to you now, that they're sending it on your phone, and that is not right at all. I don't like that.
And I'm glad, caller. I am absolutely glad that you raised that issue, because it is an issue about 2 people raised with me this week, and I keep forgetting to raise on the program.
Working 17 years now in the hospital. I'm calling from Carriacou, and I don't know what they're taking out of my salary. I don't really know what's going on, but they said to me that the pay slip will come on in the phone, and I'm not satisfied about that at all. I'm not satisfied at all.
All right, caller. Thank you so very much. All right. And folks, that's a serious one, because if you're going to transact business, you're going for a loan or so on, they ask you for your pay slips, to bring 2 recent pay slips. Yeah? Outside of utility bills, recent pay slips, that sort of thing, before they can start the transaction with you, before they can start discussing. And I believe that when they're talking about the cutting down on paper and that sort of thing, I believe that workers should have the option of whether or not they want to receive a printed pay slip. Other things, you could cut the paper in it, your memorandums, you could send them out via WhatsApp and on email and that kind of thing. But you see, the pay slip, you're dealing with financial matters. People want a paper to hold in their hand. Yeah? They want something they can hold in their hand. They could check, they could go to whether they're going by courts to transact some business, or they're going to cooperative credit union, or they're going to wherever. They want to have paper in their hand for when they're going to transact the business. Yeah? And it should be optional. There are some people that may not mind receiving it via the phone as a WhatsApp message or a MS message or whatever it is. They may not mind that. But the vast majority of people may want paper. It should be optional. Yeah? That people have the option. That's just my suggestion in relation to that one. Folks, I think we're going to call it quits right here for this week. It's been a wonderful week. It's been wonderful interacting with you. Honestly, I really was not feeling very, very well for the last few hours. I nearly did not come in to do the program. That's part of the reason I got late too, because I had to force myself to come in and do the program. But as I come in and do it, I'm feeling much, 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 much better. Folks, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for your contributions to the program. Those of you that have been calling, those of you that have been sending information, everything. I want to thank each and every one of you. And folks, this weekend, especially in whatever you say and do it safe and secure. I want to be speaking to and with you and not about you. It's been a while since I played this one. I think we're going to end with this one right now.
They say when you don't have good food, you must take in front. So this is my Kaiso for the Masgra 2023. Make sure all come out and support me. No politics, just Kaiso. Let's go. There is no place in the world like Grenada. Its people are so unique, so fabulous. They take politics real serious. You can't tell a man nothing wrong about his party. He'll deal with you so seriously, and from there on, you are his enemy. But as man, I must open my big mouth to lament on some things you know about. So the bother come attack me. Don't waste your time on a old jungle like me. Pie in the sky, promises and mama guy. Voters say their expectations were too high. Like the old proverb from way back long. You want to be wrong and strong, Some people bawling with their mouth closed. How they do that, only God knows. Man who could talk, they bawling with their jaws locked. I thought only dummies used to do that. A lady told me she's dying inside slowly, but she don't mind once it's NDC killing she. She say we had enough under Claudius, so nothing wrong if baby Jesus kill us. All those who claim that they love country more than party, the truth and reality is quite visual and so clear to see. Some things are morally wrong and unethical, are considered as politically essential. Their backs are against the wall, but you still can't tell them they're wrong at all. $2,000 increase on your salary, but you cut poor people on by $150. I wonder who advising you. Old people go drag bam bam on you. You promise to improve standard of living, but I'm seeing more pain, hurt and suffering. Would you stop for a while and listen to me? Please don't send one more family into poverty. They're crying with their mouths closed. How they do that, only God knows. They're afraid to talk your supporters on the attack when they say is that. A man told me as a strong foot soldier since June 23rd he ain't make $1. When he checked them, hear what they go say. You was wearing a green jersey one Sunday. I'm a strong supporter of the transformation agenda. It could be done with minimal errors, but tribalism and partisan politics messed up the Congress genetics. Mr. PM, you must stick to your promises. A lot of people voted you on these premises. How could you fool big people so? With pension, permanent, and more money galore. Now they're expecting you to deliver, but your conversation becomes so different. If your mind change, complain and tell us. Remember you are Grenada, Jesus. You promise happiness and better days, but we sing the opposite in many ways. Man don't go down in record as the worst PM. The poor and needy, please don't neglect them. A burning silence deep within, quietly suffering, because you are labeled as a greed. You could stop out your blessing. Sandra told me she's greatly disappointed. That's not what she expected, but she's sticking with she party.